Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Continuously Refined. I'm Shayna,
And I'm Sicily.
and we have a very special guest here with us today. Everybody, this is Jackie.
Hi, everyone.
We are super excited to have Jackie on today. She's been, I know, one of Cicely's very longtime friends, and I've
Yeah,
had the pleasure of getting to kind of hang out and know her over the last few years. We are going to kind of talk today, all things like empowering women with women's health, specifically like workouts, is something that Jackie really got into, starting a program called CHXX Who Lift at our campus at school, and is now kind of taking that with her post-grad. So we are super excited to dive into all of that today.
yeah. Welcome, Jackie. We're so excited. We've been talking about doing this with you for literally so long. I feel like every time we run into you, we're like, oh my gosh, we have to record a podcast. We have
Yes,
to do this.
have to.
So I'm so glad that it's finally happening.
Yeah, we can't wait.
So let's get started with just kind of tell us a little bit about your journey with health and your maybe relationship to fitness and just things like that, kind of growing up, maybe in high school and then as you came to college.
Totally. So played super competitive sports growing up. I think that's kind of the pipeline for everyone, especially here, which was super fun, but you always had a super detailed regimen to how you were going to practice, how you were going to play, all of that. So coming to college and not exactly playing a sport here was very difficult. And so fitness and food were two big things that were a bit of a struggle, especially freshman year. So I got really into going into the gym. I actually started going with my freshman year roommate's boyfriend, and he really got me like into the gym. So I would just meet all of his friends too, and so I would have this squad of just burly men, I guess as burly as freshman boys can be, but to me they were
True.
they were huge. But it was kind of an area of weakness where there were a lack of gals in the weight
Hmm.
room.
Yes, super intimidating.
Yes, and hence the birth of Chicks, because I wanted to get some more ladies down there because there's fun numbers having them down there and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us kind of how Chicks has been and like starting that and what that journey has been
Yeah,
like.
and what is it? Explain to us and our listeners
Yes.
what is Chicks Who Lift?
Okay, so Chicks, funny enough, it's an acronym, wearing it on my shirt. C stands for confident, H is for hardworking, the two X's are for the female chromosome, and the line connecting the two X's is kind of supposed to represent a dumbbell. So kind of a little bit more meaning to the naked eye. And so started it basically because I had one friend that really struggled with body image and lifting and just heading into the weight room, and mental health and all that jazz. And I just remember seeing a bit of myself, especially like my high school self, in her. And I was like, okay, well, maybe if we could just help one person, that could change the trajectory of my life and her life and all of that. And so since then, the goal has been just help one, and maybe that one is you, maybe it's someone else. And so Chicks was got some momentum, and now we're on 5 campuses and have about 300 members just at TCU. And so it's a community that gets more women in the weight room, and we have different education events to talk about health, wellness, all that jazz.
I love it so much.
Yeah, that's
I
so
remember
awesome.
hearing about it when you first started. And I think it is just such a cool opportunity for, like you said, women to like partner up and be with others. And I think that's something that we feel so alone a lot in
Yeah.
times when it comes to like health, wellness, working out sometimes. And so I think it's really awesome that you created like this community of girls who can go in it together and like be their best selves, which is, I
Hmm.
think, also very parallels to what we are trying to do in the podcast space of just like
Yeah.
open up, have conversations, let's talk about it, let's do this together. And I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about how starting in fitness or in health or like wellness, changing your lifestyle in general can feel like you're so alone in it because you find out something was wrong or your body doesn't feel right. And so you're like, I want to start making these changes, or you see things in yourself and you want to make those changes. And then you start doing it and you're like, I feel like no one else relates to this, even though so many people relate to it.
Mhm.
I think it's something that's so cool when you start talking about it and then you start having like even these conversations and it's like, oh, like this is so awesome that there are so many people that do relate. And even you saying that there's like 300 members here alone is so incredible.
Yeah, and I have like a question. So when you guys do kind of your daily like or weekly workouts too, like how does that work with getting the girls together and in the weight room? Are you like encouraging each other? Are you doing the same sets of working out? Like how does that what does that look
Yeah,
like?
so kind of how the way it's set up is we've got the overarching community. And so that's where we all meet up for like these speaker events because knowledge is power. So when you understand how to work out and how your body actually functions, which a lot of women like don't know just how their body works, which like I'm still learning. Like I'm very new to the
Yeah.
game, which is crazy because like we're 22 years old. You'd think there'd be more research and everything on it.
So true.
There's not.
The health
Nope.
classes in high school didn't do that.
Didn't dig in
No,
there.
they did nothing. And it's the fact that I feel like a lot of education now is everything is cookie cutter when realistically it's not. I digress. The way that it's set up is kind of like sorority, Greek life, big little program. And
Okay.
so the girls would fill out a form and just say where their experience was with lifting and what time of day they preferred to lift. And so as an exec team, we were able to partner up everyone. And so it was more of just an accountability thing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to get one person to go work out rather than 30.
Yes.
Unless we have like an event at one of these
Mhm.
awesome local places, local gyms that have sponsored us in the past. But so it's like the two, it starts at the base, just
Mhm.
like you guys are doing with the podcast,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
takes one person to get you going and
So
then
true.
you're ready to rock and roll.
Wait,
Yeah.
I love that.
Talk to us about the other campuses you're on and kind of how that has been like expanding to those. I know you have like connection to other schools, and so they've been able to kind of start programs, but
Yeah, so student organizations, as I have come to realize, are a lot harder to
Mm.
work with
okay.
in comparison to just like doing it on the outskirts. So they're kind of more on the DL
Got it.
with the other ones and not completely like approved as a student org. So TCU is the only official one,
Okay.
but we're at Tulane, Auburn, Tennessee, we're working on, Notre Dame, we're working on, and then well, I guess TCU would be, I guess, number five.
Yeah.
But and Ole Miss, sorry, that's the other one.
There you go.
But those are kind of all like on the DL where
Okay.
it's more of like an underground
Yeah.
Yeah.
organization, which is still also fun because it's still getting the message across and
100%.
all of
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely something that I think when I like lack the motivation to go work out, but then I have a friend be like, "Hey, you want to meet me at Core
Hmm.
Power at this time?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Let's go." And so, what have you noticed with like the girls who are just starting to enter into that like space in the workout space and having that partner? Like, are they creating? I feel like you'd create like these lifelong friends too when you're like constantly like, because you're going through these challenges of like pushing each other and
Yeah.
you're going through hard workouts and so getting each other to do those things, I think would create such amazing friendships out of it too.
Oh, totally. And it's not just a superficial friendship because it can be just working out and like y'all are silent, totally fine. Sometimes I need those workouts where I'm like, hey man, I'm just gotta go and lift and do my thing, but like I want you to be there. But I also think coming into college, there was this big pressure to like party every day and like
Yes.
drink and do drugs and all that wild stuff. And so having this outlet where it was actually healthy and you could make friends that actually wanted to see a better version of you and wanted to help you
Mm.
along that journey has completely changed the narrative for so many people. And I think that's super important to make sure that that's the message of most friendships is you enjoy what you're doing together and it's making you a better person.
I
Yeah,
love that. I love
definitely.
it. Talk to us also a little bit about strength training. So, this is something that we've mentioned a little bit on the podcast. I feel like so many girls do such cardio heavy workouts and like going on runs or doing the elliptical and just like pushing themselves, spin classes, like
Yeah.
pushing themselves to the extreme. But that's not necessarily what's always best for women's health, women's hormones. So, kind of what are some of the benefits that you see within strength training? Why do you love it? Why do you encourage other women to get into that strength training space?
Yeah, totally. I love strength training. I just love feeling, powerful. And also you meet such a different crowd of people
Mhm.
that do that. And obviously you've got your bodybuilders and you've
Yeah.
got the guys that are on tren or steroids and you're like, okay, that's a little bit scary. And then there's that prior, I don't know what the word is, bias where a lot of girls think that they're going to get bulky
Mm,
and that
so
could
true.
not be further from the truth, which is, I don't know, it's like so crazy to think that that's whatever.
Yeah, it deters so many women away from
It's
strength
so
training.
true.
But you need to understand how hard it is to look like that. Like I swear it is so hard to look like that.
This for a while, and like, I don't think I'm a bulky person, but
No,
like,
right.
a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you lift? Like, you're gonna get, you're not gonna fit through the door. And I'm like, okay, big back. Yeah, I guess. But I think that strength training is so powerful because as we get older as women, like, our bones are literally like they're just dying on us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so it's important to increase like the weight that you're using and all of that in order to avoid osteoporosis in the
So
future. And
true.
also, cardio is great. I would say I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. Like, COVID destroyed cardio for me. So, like, that's a mental
Mm.
block that I have. So, coming here and everyone's like, we are all running the half marathon. I think
No.
not. But honestly, I did run the half marathon
Yeah.
Heck yeah, you
because
did.
I did get peer pressured into it, but I did not train whatsoever. Like just lifted, like
Oh
max did
gosh.
like 4 miles before.
Wow.
But I think
Jaci,
strength training really
Well,
you're insane.
yeah, that's also that could be part of the issue.
it's a mental game.
It's a mental game. No, strength training, it completely changes the game for everyone. It's also so many different muscles that you wouldn't use
Yeah.
cardio wise. That's gonna like completely change. It will change how you look a little bit, obviously,
Mhm.
but like anything you do is gonna do that. Whatever you eat or put in your body, and like you're sleeping a lot, like all of that jazz, like it's gonna change how you look. Every day
Yeah.
is a different day, and so every day your body's a little different. So
That's so true.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool too, like you said at the beginning of that, just like to feel powerful and to feel strong. Like I know when I go on the spurts of like, oh, I worked out so well for a month and then like I lose it for a little bit. But at the end of that month, I'm always like, oh, it's so cool to like lift a box even and be like, wait, I can do this on my own. Or
Hmm.
like to like put something away, like just doing things and being like, wait, that used to be a lot more difficult for me. But now like I'm feeling the results, not even necessarily seeing them.
You feel the results of being strong. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I love like strength training.
What like advice would you give to the freshman coming in that sees all the partying and like can so easily get roped into that of just like to focus on your well-being for themselves too?
I think having an outlet is superior to all. Gosh, if I could do it all over again, coming in freshman year, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. I think you have to go through those
Mm.
hard times. You know what I mean? Not hard
Yeah.
times,
I
but
love that.
Yeah. So
like it
true.
just it has to happen whether you
Yeah.
like it or not. It's like the ugly duckling moment. You got to go through it. And so
Yeah.
if you're new to weight training and all of that, like get a friend. Chicks is here for a reason. But I think it's more of just staying true to your roots and
Mm.
also remembering that there is a friend out there for you that will align with you, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And so, whatever that may be, whether that is weightlifting, going out, like there will be a friend there for you.
So true.
So, it's just take that time to pour into it.
Yeah. I love that. I remember my mom giving me that advice freshman year of like join a club or something that you know you're going to have similarities with people doing because it's something you love to do and they're there, which means you already have one thing in common because you love whatever it is that you're there doing. So if you love weight training, get into that and get into that space. Or if you love doing something else, then you find your way there too. And that's how you really start to meet like your friends freshman year too. And they'll continue to just guide you like all 4 years.
Yeah, colleges, I think too. I mean, it can be intimidating to first go into a new space and a
Mm-hmm.
new environment, but there's so many clubs and so many things to do and meeting people in your dorms and just like you said, pouring into and having those conversations, get to know the person. And you don't
Yeah.
have to be best friends with everyone, but be intentional and listen and ask questions. And then you find your people and find what you enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, it's so crazy. So we've now all graduated.
We are.
We're now college grads, much as we don't want to say it. So kind of what I know, like Shannon and I keep talking about all these things post grad of like, we want to do this for our health. We want to join a studio of some sort to work out at or whatever. What are some things that you're really keen on? Like, I want to take with this with me for post grad, or I want to start this post grad.
Ooh, I was actually having this conversation last night about the hobbies to
Yeah,
pick up and all of that.
literally.
There were some random ones. Definitely the Rubik's Cube was a good one too.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Challenging.
Yeah.
mind, mental.
Yes, exactly. Honestly though, Chicks post grad is kind of what I'm aiming towards. Like,
Okay.
been working on a little fun app to
Oh,
have people be able to, like women specifically, obviously, because dependent on your cycle and
yes.
whatever time of the month, like you should be working out differently. You should not be doing the same workout every single day. That's just not how women function
Yeah.
to the best of their ability.
Mhm.
And so I want to get the post grad crew because I think I'm now back at square one where I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And college had a cool little like support system built in.
Totally.
And now we are like
Thrown out to
jumping
the wolves.
into the deep end with a weighted vest on, and we've never had a swimming lesson before.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I really want to like going to a gym and like
Uh-huh.
trying out new studios is
Yes.
definitely like
Up there.
up there
Yeah.
for
Hmm.
sure.
Well,
And I,
and it's a good way to meet people. It's
yeah,
kind of the same thing.
we've been talking a lot, like as we move to these new places,
Yeah.
like, and need to make new friends, like find the studio that you enjoy and then go to a class at the same time every
Hmm.
day or every week. Like I'm going to go to Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. every single week. And then
Yeah.
you start to create like that community and group. And that's how you meet people. So I know that's something that we've talked about too,
Yeah. For
finding new
sure.
people in this new space of
Yeah.
life we're entering. But I'm loving this new Chicks app. Something we talk about too is like that cycle syncing. And
Yes.
going back to what you said, like women just don't understand their bodies. We have never been taught society or school. We've just, it's not
Yeah.
public knowledge to understand the four phases of your cycle and the different things you need to be eating and how you need to be exercising. I think that's really cool that you are starting that with, especially already having the outlet of women who want to get into that space. Yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your fitness journey through college, how has that
Mhm.
changed through the years, and what are your
Ugh,
thoughts on?
Oh, it has completely changed.
so much so.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I think coming in, I like grew up really dancing and like playing sports in high school, but was always just training for a sport. So then coming to college, it was like, oh, I'm suddenly on my own and can do whatever workouts I want whenever I want. I think freshman year definitely got into more of the party scene, so was putting workouts on the back burner, but would only go when like I think our entire friend group would be like, "Oh, let's go upstairs and like pick up the like 5 pound weights that were like in the corner so we didn't have to go down to the weight room."
Never.
No,
God forbid we step foot downstairs.
nope, never.
No.
Yeah, literally. And then I slowly started just doing research of like, okay, if I want to work out 4 times a week, like here's like a workout plan I can do. And I loved weight training in high school. And so I definitely wanted to bring that into college with me. And then as I got working with my doctor more, my functional medicine doctor was really big on not doing cardio because my stress levels are already so high and my cortisol levels were so high that he was like, you're putting more stress on your body by doing cardio. So I really had to cut out cardio, and all of the running I was doing, like running sprints on the treadmill, was something that I did to get out of my head all the time. So if I had an issue with a boy, if I had a bad test, if I was anxious in any way, I was running sprints. And so when he was like, yeah, so no more cardio, I was like, oh, okay, so now I have to like completely change kind of everything I've known. And so that's when I really started looking into like, okay, here's like different weight training exercises I can do, following fitness influencers, and just kind of started to get into that. And then junior and senior year, moving into an apartment and like getting to have an apartment gym has been really awesome, and feeling so comfortable in a space because I like compared myself so much to girls when I would go to the TCU gym, because especially being at TCU, comparison is just such a tough thing. And so I would always be like, oh, well, they're doing this next to me or they're doing this. And so having an apartment gym has been so awesome because it's like me and maybe one other person in there who I'm not comparing myself to. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I get to just do the workouts that I want to do for myself. So I feel like that's kind of where I'm ending. And then going into post grad, I would really hope that I'll join a gym or studio or something to just continue.
So true. I think over the last 4 years, there has been so much change in
Yeah.
like my mentality around working out and why I do it. I've always been a fairly active person, like you said, going like sports, like your
Yeah.
whole life, you're just training for that sport. And then coming to college, again, like Cicely said, I was very, very into super high intensity workouts, went to
Mhm.
Orange Theory multiple days a week, like would wake up at the crack of dawn, not eat anything, work out like crazy, barely eat breakfast, and then run to class.
Yeah.
But and then or I'd go to the rec, do crazy thing like running on the treadmill, lift very like light weights. And I think the reason that I would work out was to look a certain way. Like I
Mm,
wanted to get the certain body if a certain like if spring break was coming up, I'd work out more than
for
that.
sure.
And it wasn't really because it was good for me or like healthy, but just because I wanted to like look a certain way. And then going like kind of towards the end of my sophomore year, met with a functional medicine doctor, was having a ton of hormone and health issues. And she was like, you need to stop doing all of this cardio.
Yeah.
You need to chillax. You need to eat food. And so completely changed the way I was working out. Did more, she was like doing more strength training because it's so good for your metabolism. It's good to be strong. It's good to help with your regulating your blood sugar. And then I started doing core power and like more so I like now balance between that strength training and then also having the core power, which gets a little cardio in there too. But lifting heavy and now finding out like the behind and the reasoning and the science behind why it's good to work out for your body.
Hmm.
And now I have a completely different view on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, trying to do arms this day and legs this day and lift heavier. And I love it. I feel so much better mentally, physically, all of the things.
I love it, both of them. It's so awesome. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And I think something that really changed how I view all of it, because freshman year was like, whoa, compared to now, is remembering that like your body's out on rent. Like
Mm.
you didn't choose the body that you're in. And so when
Hmm.
you're bullying yourself, it's like it's out on rent. So you just got to
Yeah.
take care of it.
No,
You know
this
what
is
I mean?
so true. And
That's
like
so true.
comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah.
And we were all made to be so individually beautiful and like
Yeah.
created by the Lord. Like we weren't supposed to all look the same. And that is
So
such
true.
a special gift that I think our society has completely transformed us. And it probably has to do with social media and influencers and the media because we see these people who are quote unquote beautiful and what they like society tells us are beautiful and we want
Yeah.
to look like that. But we are all made differently and we are all beautiful because of our differences.
Hmm.
And so I hope that people, and as you grow up and the girls, I think creating this space, whether it's a podcast or Chicks Who Lift, kind of empowering those women and just creating a different mentality around whether that is how you look physically or feel mentally,
Yeah.
knowing that we are all created differently. And I love that your body's on rent. Like that your body is like, you know, and you were to take care of it and
Yeah.
love it and nurture it and cherish it. And that comes with food and working out and taking rest days too.
Hmm.
Totally.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think that it's so hard with social media nowadays. And like, even like, I think about the little girls that are now growing up with social media. And like, when we grew up, we couldn't really see what we were not looking like or what we were comparing ourselves to. And then, like, having social media in high school and college was like such a game changer of like, oh, this is so interesting that my brain now associates this with this because of this and whatever. And I just think that it like is so important, and the biggest change for me, health wise and fitness wise, was when I really was like, I want to work out to feel good and not to look good. And when that becomes your priority, I think that completely shifts your entire mentality around it, but also how you feel because you're not mentally tearing yourself apart about it either anymore.
And I noticed I was so much more motivated to get into the gym when I wanted to feel
That's so
good. Like
true.
I love waking up now early in the morning and being like, I'm gonna go work out because I know how good I'm gonna feel after, and it's gonna help with my entire day, and I'm gonna be more mentally there, and I'm gonna pay better attention in school.
Yeah.
I'm just like an overall happier person, and so I think changing your mindset around it like has so many impactful benefits too.
The best. I love it.
So good.
I know something post grad that I definitely want to look into, and like we've talked about doing an episode about, is cycle syncing. And so, can you tell us kind of how maybe you do that for yourself, or just kind of explain cycle syncing a little bit more? Because I know I personally don't know a lot about it, but like the as far as I've gone is like, oh, I know I'm in like luteal phase, so like I'll just like take it like easier because I can like be kinder to my body or like things like that. That's kind of all I've like really looked into so far.
Yeah, totally. So obviously 4 phases
Yep.
cycle. You've got ovulat ovulation, menstrual, luteal follicular, right?
Hmm.
So those are out of order. But I digress. You can tell like right before you get your period, like at least for me personally, it's also
Hmm.
different for everyone. So it's like
Yes.
you just got to do some trial and error with it. And so something that I've really been trying to work on developing is Chicks Track. So obviously there's the two X's at the end of tracks. And it's a way to write down how you're feeling, and
Mm.
dependent on whatever cycle you're in, specific exercises that are gonna be able to help you maintain being able to go and work out, because the natural endorphins that you get from working out are unlike
Hmm.
anything else.
Yeah.
And so like I know like right before my period I'm like exhausted, and I know that I'm more likely to injure myself,
Mm.
especially if you have prior injuries, because like I have a herniated disc in my back. So I know like if I'm lifting heavy right before my period, like I will be in so much pain for the
Mm.
next 3 weeks that like I won't be able to do anything. And so it's more of, because everyone is so individualized and unique, it's more of just you need to be aware and you need to be proactive about what you're eating, what you're doing, and how you're going about it in a healthy way. Because I know that sometimes tracking, especially now, we get like
So true.
so in our heads about
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
And so it's more of tracking to prevent injury rather than tracking to continue down a route where you might be obsessing over it. Because I've had that
Hmm.
era too where I'm like, weigh the food, count the
Yeah.
calories, and
Yeah.
that can be a very dangerous game. But all of those variables affect how you're lifting, how you're feeling, all that
Hmm.
good stuff.
Kind of creating that balance. I really like
Yeah.
that and not getting so regiment on like a schedule where it's like if I don't do this now, I feel
So true.
guilty or like if I don't eat this many calories, I feel guilty, but kind of listening to your body. What do you
Hmm.
need that day and going along with that cycle? I think as you get on a few months of it, you kind of understand a little bit more of the ebb and flow of your body, but I
Yeah.
love that like giving yourself grace, not being so regiment, but yet just listen to your body and matching that with not getting hurt, especially like weightlifting and
Hmm.
preventing injury. That's really cool.
I
Really, really
love the
cool.
listening to your body because I think with fitness influencers, and I know I get caught in this trap when like scrolling on reels of like seeing all this stuff about like, okay, so like cycle syncing, for example, like then when you're on this phase, you should be doing X, Y, and Z and do these exercises. And then this phase, do these exercises. And it's like, okay, that's great. But if you're not maybe feeling those exercises one day, like you should own your body and value that, and that your body is trying to tell you that, hey, this maybe isn't for today, and that like that is okay, instead of being so like we talk a lot about like going 100% all in all the time. And like it's okay to listen to your body and to respect like, hey, this is what it's wanting right now, and not this is what this influencer told me to do, so I have to do it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
hard.
Very much so.
Especially when your body's like, I don't know, I feel like it's more of a whisper, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
there's so much noise up here that sometimes it's like, I know I should be listening to something, but it's like
So true.
up here is screaming to do that or go one more. And it's like your body just, it will shut down if you do that one more. And so being able to, it's a skill that you have to really work on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
How do you think you've been able to kind of work on the mentality like attached to it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, ooh, shoot, that's good. Um, I mean, it's real. Yeah, it's a battle. I mean,
Yeah.
every day it's like you're internally like, okay, I know I. It's the shoulda, coulda, woulda moment. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's like,
Yeah.
um, I should be out doing this. I should
yes.
be doing that. But realistic, I think it's also the outside noise. You really gotta get rid of that
Yeah.
first. So social media, maybe parents, friends,
Yeah.
family, sometimes that external noise can be very detrimental. And so being able to not avoid that, but set up a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries. That's where it comes into play. So externally boundaries, internally, I think journaling super
Mm,
beneficial and like how you're feeling and stuff, so you don't beat yourself up. And sometimes writing it down, it's like, how am I being so mean to myself right now when
yeah.
realistically, like, still your first time living, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm.
100%.
Such a good point. Such
Speaking
a-
kindly to yourself, I think that is so important. It's something I've been trying to like be so much better about, and not being like, oh, I don't have a job, but instead being like, yeah, but you just did all these cool things in college and like whatever. Like changing that mindset, I think is so important to just your entire lifestyle. And it helps in like every single aspect.
Mhm. How have you dealt kind of with like food and nutrition? Because it is, I think, girls in general just think like eating will make them, not look a certain way. But if you are
Mm.
working out like this and just your overall health, whether you are or not even working out, your body needs food and your body needs nutrition. And this is like this beautiful creation that we were given, like
So
breakfast, lunch,
true.
and dinner, and you're supposed to be eating. How have you seen that come through with Chicks and Lift and the girls that enter? Or how are you educating them on the foods and the proteins and the fiber that they should be eating?
Yeah. So Hannah Trail, she's my VP, my right hand woman. She's a nutritionist, so she's taught me so much that I'm like, "Pff, that goes way over my head. I'm more of just on the mental side, being like, it's okay to eat the cookie. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about it. Like,
Yeah.
got a cookie on the way here. 11 a.m. Okay. But I think once again, it just goes down to being knowledgeable and not just looking at that one 15-second Instagram reel that says, okay,
Mhm.
what do I eat in a day?
Yeah.
Because that's once again probably not true for that influencer. And
True.
two, not a sustainable diet. And so remembering that that's just a snippet into someone's edited life rather than how they're actually living. So once again, it goes back to comparison. And so we've had different events and different speakers come in and talk about diet and all of that jazz. And so at the end of the day, it's like if your body's saying that it wants a chocolate milkshake, you better go get it because you will be so much happier.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's once again just listening and being kind and remembering that food is so good. I think the game changer. Did you study abroad?
I
Or you
went
just,
for like a Maymester, yes.
okay, and you're going to Europe.
I am,
I
yeah.
think also like getting out of the American culture with food,
Mm,
and realizing just how good food is outside of it, or learning how to cook or something like that, it just completely changes the game for everyone because I love food. Like I wake up thinking about it, I go to sleep thinking about it. It's
uh-huh.
incredible.
Mm-hmm. And finding what nourishes your body and then also what you enjoy.
Totally. But if you were to ask me this question 4 years ago, I'd be like, oh, I was gonna have an iced coffee today, and
Yeah.
that caffeine was gonna get me through the day.
Right.
And so it's honestly appalling to think that that was a mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
That like you yourself had. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like how did my body even survive that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a car, I was literally running on fumes and everything was going downhill, like energy, my skin,
Yeah.
body, all of that. But then you fuel yourself and it's like, oh, I'm no longer angry at my roommates
Mm.
for not doing a
So
dish.
true. So true.
Hmm. It's like finding that root cause behind
Yeah.
this issue.
I also think it's so important of like who you surround yourself with. If you continue to like even for example, like in high school, like I remember so many people going to lunch and just getting fries. Like they would just get fries from the caf and like that was their lunch. And it was so, or they were on juice cleanses and like that was so normalized. And so I would sit at lunch and be like, well, I have this like big lunch that my parents packed or that I made this morning. And like I like this is not looking like what is next to me. And so you're surrounded by that. And then you come to college. And if you kind of find similar people that are also like, oh, like I had one meal today and like that's perfect. Like, and that's good. Like, try to remove yourself from that. And I think it's important to see it's something that's been so important to me of like my friends in college have always been friends that will finish their plate with me and we sit at dinner and it's like, oh, we're gonna get an appetizer and we're gonna get an entree and then maybe we'll go for dessert after because we can.
Yes.
And so I think that that is so important. Do we have any other questions for Jackie?
I think kind of we touched on the post grad, but as you transition from undergraduate to now post grad and going out into the world, what is one thing that you are going to focus on, like for your personal mental health and well being? And then one area that you would give someone advice who is also maybe like stepping into the later end of their college career? Yeah, later end, like going from sophomore to junior year.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I think the first one, and let me know if you guys feel the same way. I think this year specifically, getting so comfortable and it was so amazing. Like friends were great.
Yeah.
Obviously, like not everything is all sunshine and rainbows, but like you had that support system, you had your routine, everything was perfect. And it seems like it's just being like stripped
Yeah.
away. And I think the one thing to focus on is like coming to college from high school. I was so pumped to like do something new and really dive into the uncomfortable. And now we get to do it again, but I'm
And
terrified.
I so
So
agree.
true.
So
That's so true.
Like I compared this the other day to one of my friends. I said, right now I feel like I'm in a lukewarm bath. Like it's great. I'm cozy. I'm getting a little pruny. And I know I need to hop into the cold shower and
Yeah.
I'm excited. Like I know it'll be good for me, but like,
Oh,
oh man, I
Yeah.
am cozy good right now.
Yeah.
wait, I like that.
And so that's one thing is just really buying into the uncomfortable and like
Mhm.
meeting new people, new place, like making a new place a home is something that I'm really excited for. And the people, all that good stuff. And then sophomore to junior year. Oh gosh. Sophomore year I low key just completely wiped out of my mind. That was a rough one. I will not lie. I think especially like going off campus or even just like any year, your friends will change, you will
Mm.
change. And so remembering that even though you're changing, that doesn't make you a bad person by any means.
So true.
You're just growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you outgrow people,
Yes.
and that
So
was a
true.
really hard pill for me to swallow even this year. And so just remembering that um, sometimes not everyone wants what's best for you, but there are people out there that do. It's just a matter of time before you find those people.
Yeah.
Wow, very well said.
100%.
What about you guys? Your turn.
Very well said. No, honestly, I agree with so much of what you said. I think coming into college, I was so excited to get into this new journey.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm leaving and I'm like, wait, I'm not really that excited about it. And I think it's also the unknown. Like we
Yes.
kind of knew what to expect coming into college.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
talked to people, we'd seen it, we knew what to
There were enough
expect.
YouTube videos to watch,
Yeah.
like things to
Now
follow.
we're all going our own way and it's
Yeah.
going to be amazing. It's going to be how it's going to be and like perfectly curated to each of us, but it's scary. And so I think that's just the unknown. I think it's going to be a lot harder to make friends than it
Yeah.
was here in college and that's very daunting. But like you said, stepping in the uncomfortable is something that I'm really going to try to emphasize. Um and then I think kind of going, you have so much fun those first 2 years of college because everything is so new and everything's so exciting. But then the back end, I think you do a lot of growing up. I
Mm-hmm.
think I was still so young freshman and sophomore year. And then I really like stepped into this young adulthood when I hit junior and senior year. And so finding out like what was important to me and what I wanted to spend my time doing. And like you honestly, the people that I wanted to surround myself with
Yeah.
and finding those common things and those common goals was something that I really enjoyed. So I'd say like listening to truly like what is important to you and then stepping into that and going to do those things because I was just so much happier in different ways.
Yeah, I love that. I think that post grad for me, like Shannon and I have talked a lot this week, especially about like trusting that the Lord is placing us where He wants us to be. And I'm like so trying to be like, I feel so called to this city and I'm going to follow that. And I don't know what that means or what that looks like, but I trust that He's going to bring me here. And then eventually He's going to bring me back to all my friends that I want to be with. And like, that we all just need to go like have these experiences and then we like we'll see where the Lord takes us and like even with my family, like I'm moving away from my parents. And so it's like, I trust that eventually, like, if I have these desires to be close to these people, that that will then come back. And if I have this desire to be in a different place, that that will come and like the Lord will align that for me. So I'm really trying to put a lot of trust and just like hope and faith in that. And then I think the biggest thing for me, like sophomore to junior year, and the advice I would give would just be like, find a routine. And I think that freshman and sophomore year, and especially at TCU, having to live on campus, your routine is just kind of the friend knocks on your door and they're like, let's go do this, and you go do it. And then you leave and you come off campus and kind of the same thing you guys were saying of like you then have to put in the effort to hang out with friends and to see different people and you get to establish whatever you want your routine to be. You now have the time because no one's knocking on your door 24/7, so you can go to the gym in the morning if you want to or at night. You can make the meals you want to. You can schedule time with people to go get lunch or to do homework in the library or whatever it is. Whereas before it was always just you were being pulled in all these different directions. And so I think that that growth really happens because it's like, oh, I get to kind of decide the trajectory of what my days look like now. And that was the biggest game changer for me because it was like, I finally get to prioritize these things that I'm not being peer pressured to like just go do this or just to go do that, which not that that was a bad thing. I loved all those moments so much. But coming off campus, that was like, oh, I now actually have the time to work out or to eat the way I want to and to cook these meals and meal prep and stuff like that. Yeah.
So great. Well, thank you so much for coming on,
Yes,
Jackie.
thank
Guys, this
you.
is
This
awesome.
was such an amazing conversation just about
Yeah.
empowering women and talking about our life stages and where we have been, where we are, and where we're going. And I
Yeah.
think I hope everyone kind of takes something a little special away from it. I know I definitely did. I really
Yeah.
appreciated the conversation and having you on. Wish you the best of luck as we step into this new chapter of
Yeah.
life. I know you're gonna
Ditto.
kill it and everything with Chicks Who Lift. Do y'all have an Instagram or somewhere where people can find you?
Yes, we do have an Instagram, chicks CHXX Who Lift. Please follow. We have a TikTok. Yeah,
Do you want to
that's.
plug the podcast?
Oh my gosh, obviously. And we have a podcast on Spotify. It's called Chicks Chat, so plug into that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on and go listen to Jackie's episodes in her podcast. And we'll talk to you guys again in another 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.